You ever hear those stories about a ship that sank, but still shows up in fog? That's what this place felt like. Not two tombs side by side. The older one was pushing its own shape back through the newer shell.
To us, they were only airbirds. To the older burial, they may have been the first things across the line. The question was no longer whether the birds mattered. The question was where and when to use them.
Then we kill the birds. Not here. This way. The candle. It's weak. Be ready. Look, the southeast corner.
It always started in the storm.
Help me!
And every time, I woke before the sand closed over my head. That morning looked ordinary enough. He didn't come to browse, he came carrying a line. You boys buy old things? My grandfather said it came from upriver. People in my village say that place isn't somewhere you're supposed to go. Old ground. That was the moment it stopped being a curiosity and started looking like payground. This is a lie. Say that in money. Marker to bury channel ground. Gold ultra pieces. This is payground. This isn't scrap, this is a line. Say that in money. Missed nuggets in the gravel, heavy stone in the black sand, maybe older pieces buried under both. So this isn't a rumor, it's a strike. A line like that doesn't leave men like us standing still for long. We didn't go north chasing a legend. We went north chasing ground that might pay in gold, stone, and old history all at once. If this pays, I'm buying a real truck. He'd lose both by the next town. That current's stronger than it looks. The Yukon wasn't a river a man looked at casually. It moved like the country itself had chosen a direction. Damn. There they are, wave them in! Coming in hot! Watch the current! Got it. If the trip had stayed ordinary, this would have been the part we forgot.
That's not a fish. It hit like a buried truck moving underwater.
The first time the Yukon really showed itself, we were already out on the water.
That's one serious river.
The first hit felt like we'd run over a buried truck.
What the hell was that? There's something in the water! Driftwood?
No, it was something alive.
Use the shovel. With what reach? Doesn't matter, hit it if it comes close.
The river never explains itself, it just keeps moving. The river had given us a warning. Harris gave us the rest. You boys want the truth? The river thing matters less than the ground above Bonanza Creek. There's a slope above Bonanza Creek, black gravel, old pits, a shack built around a giant fish skeleton.
Folks call it Bonanza Hollows.
Once he said black gravel, I stopped hearing a story and started hearing buried payground.
And people leave it alone?
The smart ones do. Some say it's just a giant fish. Others say it's something that's always been in that river. Older than the town, older than the boats. By then, the line was no longer pointing at money alone. It was a man dragged the bones up from the river and built himself a house around them. It wasn't high country, it was wrong country. Ground a man could misread once and never get another chance to correct. From a distance, it looked passable. Up close, it sounded empty under your feet. This place feels rotten. It was the kind of ground where the next ridge looked close enough to touch, and still took half a day to reach. By then, we had enough sense left to know we weren't going farther in after dark.
We weren't asking for trust. Only a roof, for the ground got worse than the light. Some rooms still hold a man after he's gone. That one did. Years ago, our son went into Bonanza Hollows after a dog. He never returned.
Some things belong to the old river.
That wasn't a shack a man built to live in. It was a cover raised over something buried. Look at the size of that thing. Whoever built that place had wanted people to notice the bones and miss the ground.
That thing's bigger than a damn truck.
The bones were still solid, more solid than the shack built around them.
Still holding. The man had gone to a lot of trouble to make that place look stranger than it was. No one had built that place to stay warm. It was built to stand there and be seen. Nobody lived here. They hid here. Not the edges, the center. If there was a hole here, it wouldn't be where a man naturally looked first. It would be where he looked and thought nothing of it. The house was the cover. The real work had always been below. There you are.
That was where the job stopped being guesswork. Once we dropped through that floor, skill was supposed to matter more than luck. At first, it still felt like old ground a man might survive by skill, patience, and a little luck. That was the mistake. We thought the place would keep obeying the rules we knew. The flame died too cleanly. That was the first sign. That was the moment it stopped feeling abandoned.
Back. Right now.
You're telling me to turn around already?
I'm telling you something changed.
James.
The center line had been planned. The side cuts were what panic looked like underground.
So what now?
Now we stop pretending the side routes are options.
Meaning?
Meaning the only way left is deeper.
We had expected a chamber with an answer in the middle. Instead, we found a room built around an absence. James, there's no center. It wasn't looted. That would have been easier to understand. It had been prepared and left unfinished.
Don't tell me we crawled all this way for an empty room.
This wasn't looted. No. It was never finished. Come north for gold. Standing there, I finally understood we had not reached the bottom of anything.
The empty center wasn't the answer. It was the warning. That was when the place stopped feeling like a room and started feeling like the outer layer of something much larger.
This goes on.
We had not walked into a treasure room. We had walked into unfinished intent. Even the water looked placed. A place can be stripped. This one had been left unfinished.
That was the part no prospector could have made sense of. It wasn't old camp work. The room hadn't been emptied, it had been waiting. Nothing was ever set here. This wasn't looted, it was never finished. The farther in we went, the less the place felt abandoned and the more it felt sealed. The room before had looked interrupted. This one looked intentional. That was when the hall finally gave us its center.
I knew we hadn't found a grave in the simple sense. We had found the point where the place wanted us to stop. It didn't feel set there to be admired. Hold the light lower.
You seeing something?
Yeah.
What?
The coffin isn't sitting on the floor. That was when I stopped trusting the floor under us to remain the same floor twice.
That's the same opening. That's the problem. It wasn't a crack in the floor. It was a route. And it had not been there a minute earlier. That damn thing was not there before. No kidding. All right, forget the old route. We go up. Then what are we waiting for? That doesn't sound like a solid plan. It's what I've got. If this gets us back to the outer works, I'm not complaining. I'd seen that ship once before. Then I saw it again. Then again. Stop. What now? The stairs are repeating. Going down should have brought us back. It didn't. We've been going down longer than we went up. James, keep moving.
That was the moment the stairs stopped being a route and became a trap.
James, don't tell me we're going to die on a staircase. Then don't start talking like a dead man. Nobody's dying here, not like this.
The problem wasn't distance. The stairway itself was never meant to let anybody reach the end. So what are you saying?
By then it was clear this wasn't a stairway in the ordinary sense.
It was a route that kept writing itself under our feet.
John died on a staircase! Not if there's one thing left to try. It wasn't up or down. It wasn't speed. It wasn't light. The problem was that we had been moving exactly the way it wanted us to move. Then we stopped moving the way it wants. You see the mark, so you count. You count, so you trust the count. The moment you trust it, you're inside the design.
So the mark isn't the road.
No, it's the bait. This wasn't haunting, it was design. The lower layer kept its shape, and when we touched the wrong point, it started pushing its routes forward.
So we're not trapped on an endless staircase.
No.
John,
Then what are we trapped in? A route somebody wrote for us before we got here.
a trap. We have to get out.
Look, the mist is thickening. I've got it. What?
Rope.
We didn't need our eyes. We didn't need the steps. We needed one line the stairway hadn't written.
Rope doesn't care what the stairs want us to think. A straight line.
Exactly.
Tie everything in, no loose knots. Between the three of us, we've got enough. Once we stopped following the stairway's line, we had to build one of our own. The trap had its line. We were about to lay down ours. Then let's stop admiring the damn stairs and use it. Carter, you stay here. Don't move. Not an inch. Fine, but if this goes bad, I'm hauling you back. Only if I tell you to. And me? You're the relay. Stay steady and keep the line clean.
James, hold up. What if the rope snaps? Then don't yank it. Don't move. If you pull the line around, I lose the only road I've got. You feel one thing go wrong, you turn back. Don't get stubborn.
I was about to say the same thing to you. The count still mattered, but only as a point to cross, not a truth to trust. Anything made has a measure. Anything with a measure has a break in it somewhere.
The line changed in my hands before the space changed in my eyes. He got through. You sure? That wasn't drifting the line, that was him. Only. Breaking the stairway didn't make it easy, it only made it possible. James, if this works, I'm buying that rope a drink. You buy the rope a drink, I'm taking yours. Rope secure, I'm heading down.
I'm done with this damn staircase.
The trick was never beating the stairs, it was refusing to let them define the road. We got out of the stairway alive. For a few seconds, that felt like enough.
All right then. Looks like this place still hasn't learned how to swallow us.
Don't tempt it.
Where are the birds?
Then I looked down, and whatever little ease we had vanished.
The upper chamber is real. The older one below it is real too. They just don't belong to the same time.
You ever hear those stories about a ship that sank, but still shows up in fog? A ghost ship. Yeah, not alive, not gone either, that's what this feels like. Not two rooms side by side. The older one is pressing its own shape back through the newer shell. So the coffin, the stairway, the altered passage, they didn't grow there. They came back.
That's supposed to make me feel better?
No. It's supposed to tell you what kind of place we're in. Men break into places like this all the time. With iron, fire, rope, noise. That alone wouldn't surprise it.
You're telling me 3 grown men walk in here and somehow the birds matter more? Long?
The birds went first. Exactly. To us, they were air birds. To the older layer, they may read differently. Differently how?
Not as pets, not as tools, more like the thing that crossed the boundary first.
The forerunners. Then we kill the birds and shut the damn thing back down. Not here. The wrong move in the wrong layer could count for more than we meant it to.
Why not here? Because if this stairway belongs to the older layer, then anything we do here gets counted by its rules, not ours. He's right.
So what, we carry the damn things around and hope the place gets polite?
No, we get back to ground that still belongs to the upper hall.
If we do it here and the layer turns again, exactly, so we don't gamble here. The birds mattered. The trick was not just whether to use them, but where. We made it back to the upper hall. The birds didn't stay where we'd left them. No, I brought them back. Then where are they? It didn't sound like a bird anymore. It sounded like breath being forced through something half shut. That better be one of those birds. Think it's inside the thing? No. Then where did it go? The bird gave the game away.
It's happening again.
There it was again, not a second tomb beside ours. The older one was rising back through it.
So the damn birds did it. Stop looking. We use this one.
Now, at the opening first. If it works, good. If not, we go back to searching this.
You really think this is the move?
I think it's the last clean move we've got. James, is this really going to work? Whether it works or not, this is the last throw we've got. Whether it worked or not, we were past the point of pretending we had another throw left. The lower passage folded away, and the later line forced by men came back into view.
That's our way. Then we don't waste another second. Don't stop. Deadeye behind me. Carter in the rear. Do we really need to rush this hard? Yes, one bird's still out there. The way back it returned, that didn't mean the older layer was done with us.
Subscribe to my channel for more exciting movies.